All right, what do we got today? We have a laptop, a crap top. So this is a Dell 5520 or something. And I think I've got a 5520 and a 5430, and they're very similar. They're about a year apart. One is like 17, and the other one's 15 inch. They're kind of somewhat ruggedized. The reason I like them is because there's access to everything with screws for the most part. Now the other laptop, you got to cut a little trap door to get to the BIOS battery. So we've removed some stuff here. We're going to be doing a couple of things. I'm going to pull the heat sink, and I'm going to put some thermal paste on it because I think it runs really hot. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. They do snap in, so be careful. And make sure you remove all the screws. Oh, Lord. So, I've been looking at battery spot welders. So right here is where the battery goes. The other version of the laptop, there's this solid plastic here. To use this 3-terminal connector, which as far as I understand, you can put a 2-pin JST on here. So, what I want to see is, can I put this in here? And the answer is nope. I cannot fit that in there. Maybe if I cut out some of that plastic I could, but I was trying to see if there's going to be like an option to do that, because I was like, oh, I removed this out of a dead motherboard. So you would need something pretty small to fit in there. I don't know how much plastic is under here. I'm gonna try and see if I can figure it out. We have like some itty bitty little speakers right here, believe it or not. They're kind of blocked. So my other laptop, I'm going to bring out here, and we'll take it apart really quick and see, because I've cut it out. The other one, I actually thought there was a problem with it, and the battery tested fine. But they both pop up that same message that you'd see if the BIOS battery was bad. I don't know what's in here, and I really don't think it would clear even if I did cut the plastic out. But so what I want is a battery tab spot welder. I just take a battery and spot weld it. I peeled these off here. I have a feeling I could probably use a $20 one to do it. And I can order some batteries on Amazon that already have the tabs on them. And then here's another issue that brought me to this conclusion. There's tons of batteries for sale on Amazon, but if you read the reviews, they're almost all bad. And I mean, I don't care if it's Energizer, Duracell, Panasonic, Maxwell, they're all bad. So Amazon has become a dumping ground for just garbage. Okay? Now, when you pull a cell apart, it should leave pieces of metal behind. If it doesn't, you don't have a good spot weld, okay? And these guys are using these handheld spot welders where they can pull it off by hand, and that's just not good. So, I would probably be able to get away with it on this, because if you look, I removed one of them, and there's very little evidence of where it was. But in order to do stuff like 18650 battery packs with nickel strips, I mean, you're not going to do it with one of those handheld things, I don't think, from what I can tell. So, am I going to build some packs? Maybe. I've got like a Milwaukee battery that I needed to redo. It's got like, you know, some bad cells, and I got some extra cells out of other things. I used to go to the thrift store and buy stuff that had these in them because I have a lot of flashlights that use them and stuff. But the purpose of this video was about these laptops, you know, and the fact that they don't put a holder in here, and you know, the different connectors that they stick on the damn batteries. Okay, here's the other laptop. Let me zoom out. You can see it's literally the same thing, just a different size. Actually, this one's newer. So this one, the trap door has already been cut. These ones don't have a removable battery. You literally have to take this entire laptop all the way apart on these ones. And I don't know why. But what we'll learn from this is if this one will work to hold this. Okay, so here's where this one is in relation to the other one. So you can see they're both very similar. We have this here, this here, this here. The RAM is over there. Speaker's in a different location. And then we have kind of this area here. I believe what we're looking at right here is the top of the card reader. So there's no going down into that, or you just can't go further. You might be able to go ahead and relocate a battery holder over here, or you know, over here maybe, like on this one. But it's just not. There's other ways of doing this, but yeah, it's just not gonna to work well. This one here could fit over here if you wanted to put it here, but I don't know how well it would do with leads that long. So let's take a look at some other stuff while we're in here. Okay, so that supposedly these two can be swapped. These chips, processors. The heat sinks aren't the same, but supposedly everything else is. So you look at this one here, the battery's right there, and this one here, for whatever reason, just uses the two wires. Now I'm curious because you see that there, and you know there's no way that's going to plug into there. But people were saying online that you could plug that into there with two pins. Absolutely not. There's no way. Now all they've done here is they put the black and the white wire together to the ground. I don't know why they did that, but they did. So similar laptops, different things. But yeah, I keep them because they're semi-rugged, and I just kind of wanted to make this video so if somebody wanted to know about the 5430, this is where you need to cut the plastic to get to this battery that's normally trapped underneath here. So to get to this without cutting this, you'll have to remove the keyboard, you'll have to remove the screen, you'll literally have to take this thing completely apart just to change it. On this one, it's right here. And you know, so it's a bummer they didn't make these things a little bit better. Like I've got a Toshiba over here, and you open it up and it's got a battery holder. So, you know, I don't know. You just like, Dell did a lot of really good stuff here, but then they screwed up on certain things. Oh yeah, that looks pretty nasty. So we're gonna try and clean this thing up and get some fresh stuff on it. I got a couple different kinds. I've got this stuff here, huge ass thing. They got this GC4. Anyway, I don't think it really is as super important as people think it is, as long as it's not old. But this thing is considerably hot. So now normally I don't worry about this, but I've been running into it a little bit more often. So we need to get it all cleaned up and we'll be back. Okay, we got that one clean and we got that one clean. So I'm going to put a liberal amount of stuff on here. Really, we've got more surface area here than we do on that, but yeah. So there's also another chip right here. I think that's probably the graphics. And it uses one of these silicone things, which I'm not a big fan of, but it presses down on there. So we've seen a lot more of that in stuff like ham radios, the cheap Chinese radios, specifically those really small ones. They use like some funky little square, like smaller than a sugar cube one on a 7-volt walkie-talkie transistor inside of a radio that runs on 14 volts. It's like a 5 to 6 or 7 watt transistor, and they're making 25 watts out of it by overvolting it from 7 to like 14 volts. It's crazy. And then it uses some little goofy piece of silicone to keep it cool. Okay, so I'll probably just go with this, as I think that one's not even open. They give us a nice little spatula. Woo! That's probably too much, but anyway, we'll see. So I'm going to give it a good squish, and then just lift it up and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, we really put too much on there. I'm going to go ahead and spread that out. Not much else I can do with it. I guess I could have scraped it off and did the other processor. I'm pretty sure I have enough. Jeez, I scraped off that much. I cleaned this most of the way. I'm going to wipe it off. I'm going to put that on there again. I don't want, because I think too much is actually worse. I'm going to go with that because I just put it on there and it didn't even reach. So when I went like this, what you do is you drop it down in there, and then I put it in there like that. It didn't even touch. So let's cinch it down. Worst case scenario, we can do this multiple times. It's not like I don't have enough of this grease. I'm sure that's plenty good. I'm not even going to bother to recheck it, I don't think. I'm tempted, but usually once you pull it and separate it, it changes it. So I think I'm just going to leave it like that. If we run into an issue with the temperature, we'll redo it. Good enough. Alright, it's back together. The $20 laptop. So I still need to order a keyboard or get a key. But I mean, everything else works. The hell? I had to hold it down. Is the battery dead? It's automatically going to do something stupid because it has no BIOS battery. So they give you this. My other one does this and the battery is good. The battery is not great in the other one, but I think I read about 2.8 volts on it, so maybe it's not good enough. But the thing is, we're going to get a couple of batteries that will heat shrink them up like this one was originally. We're going to get a couple of batteries since we're going to have to buy more than one anyways, so we'll just do them both at once. But it could be 2.8 is not enough volts. So we just press... what I want to do though is I want to run F5. So I want the onboard diagnostics, which is going to let me know. It's going to do a stress test on the CPU. And we'll be able to get an idea I saw this thing running pretty hot before. Okay. We click. Continue. Okay. Right now, I think we saw 68 Celsius on this thing. It's going to start kicking out some heat. Okay, so 68 is the CPU thermistor. Ambient is 27 Celsius, it says. The SODIMM thermistor is 38. We have a low of 64, a high of 68. Okay, and we'll see these numbers change. And we do need to plug in a charger. Grab that. Okay. What I like about these Dells is I can find lots of stuff at thrift stores. This one was $20 at a thrift store. The other one was like $7 or $8 at a thrift store. So, I don't know what March C test is. 4 CPUs. It does not have 4 CPUs, but it has 4 threads. So it's an i5 with 2 cores and I guess what you would call, you know, the 4 threads are like virtual cores. And they used to call it that on the AMD stuff back about the time this thing came out, actually. I remember they had these crazy ass AMD Phenom processors that had like 6 and 8 cores in like 2010. And I remember going to Fry's Electronics and building a computer, and I used the AMD Athlon X3. And that was a cheaper processor you could buy. It had 3 cores with a hidden dormant 4th core that you could unlock, and it was still pretty disappointing. Those AMD quad-core processors in 2008, 9, and 10, they were garbage. They were not fucking good. Forget what it was. I had a Core 2 Duo that ran better. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but I never had really good luck with AMD until I got this Ryzen 5 laptop. Every laptop I bought brand new has been AMD because it was cheaper, and it's always been bad. Slow, slow, slow. I had an Acer laptop that had a quad-core AMD. It was slow. I bought a Acer with another quad-core AMD. Slow. I bought an Acer netbook flip with an Intel Silver something, single fucking core or something. That thing ran circles on all those computers. And that was, I bought that in 2020, and that was like a 2018 or 19 model on clearance. And I found that up at Target for like $199. And that's the fastest computer I've ever bought new that I didn't build. Okay, we're up to 87 on the CPU, and that's what we got before. So there probably wasn't anything wrong with that thermal paste, because in reality it was all still there. It wasn't like it dried out and fell off, and so until you disturb it, it's usually pretty solid. And there was quite a bit on there, so I don't think there was an issue. But I was hoping maybe the CPU temps would go down a little bit, but they're exactly what they were. Okay, and you're going to get this testing is complete, 1 or more errors. Now, when you run this test with a spinning hard drive, this test takes like 2 hours. I'm kidding you not. It's crazy. So we have an event log we can look at. It failed the PSA error cables, check the following cables. RTC battery, and that's whatever that stands for, but that's going to be the BIOS battery. So we have the batteries 99% charged. This is, by the way, an Amazon battery I bought last year. So far, I haven't used it a lot, but it seems to be okay. Battery health is at 88%. Current flow 700 milliamps. Battery charging. So, you really gamble on Amazon or eBay with any of these, batteries. But boy, I mean, $23 for a battery, or $123 for a Dell, probably, if you can even find it. Because this computer is already 13 years old. 13 or 14 years old. So, and you see now our temperature is dropping on the CPU because we're not loading it up anymore. So it's down to 69 degrees Celsius. So that pretty much concludes what I wanted to do here with this thing. I just wanted to make a video and help anybody that might have this particular type of laptop. And I doubt it will be super popular because, this is a 13, 14-year-old computer, but people do still buy these. And for an i5, for just doing basic stuff like programming ham radios, operating FT8 portable in the field, this is a good choice. It's a semi-rugged laptop. It's not a tough book, but if you look at it, the top of it is metal. It's actually got a rubber seal right here. You can't really see it. It doesn't have a web camera, which is what I like. I don't want a web camera. It has a DB9 port, so you can program Motorola radios and things like that. It has an Ethernet port. It has a phone line port, believe it or not. So the Dell Latitude series was a business computer. And I don't make too much of a mess here. They have an SD card reader, and then they have the EC, which is like a business thing. You got an eSATA, and I don't know what that i394 is. It's like a FireWire type of thing. It doesn't have Bluetooth. It's got a monitor output, a DVD burner. On the back, there's your modem. Here's your RJ45 for a telephone line. So you could do dial-up on this thing if you needed to. I don't know if that's even possible nowadays, but anyway, that's my $20 laptop.